In yesterday's video, I showed off just how fast and mobile the new behemoth Stasis Titan can be, and that overwhelmed a couple of my viewers who asked the question of, well, is there a way to play Titan that isn't reliant on mobility, fast reaction speed, and decent aim? And the answer to that is yes. That's what today's video is about. This is trying to make the Stasis Titan work with crowd control, freezing abilities, that kind of thing. It utilizes the Telesto, which is a fusion rifle that sets proximity bolts on the floor. It uses a demolitionist hand cannon so that if you get a kill with it, it refreshes your grenade energy. And of course the grenade is the dusk field grenade, which has this gravity effect that draws anybody who gets tagged by it into the center for a second, and then it slows them down, and if they stand in the grenade for too long, they get frozen. To double down on this, literally, I'm using the Armamentarium exotic chest piece so that I have 2 dusk field grenades. For longtime viewers of my channel, you know me and Telesto go way back. It's the original anti-shotgun fusion rifle. By setting a delayed blast on the floor, if someone's overly aggressive, they slide right into that delayed blast and get punished. In a similar way, the entire idea of all the Stasis subclasses have some element of anti-shotgun, where if somebody rushes you and you set up your abilities ahead of time, they get punished for pushing. And so this doubles down, maybe even triples down on that playstyle. And there is a good ceiling for this, so just because I say it's not reliant on intense aim and reaction speed doesn't mean it can't be skillful. If you paid attention to some of the background gameplay, you can see that I am trying to learn angles with these grenades where I can throw them before even entering an engagement, so that as I'm fighting, these grenades land on the floor and act as area denial and protect me from shotgunning. I can also place minefields all over the ground with Telesto bolts and make it so that if they approach me, they have to do it from the air. Don't forget that with Telesto, you don't have to worry about damage fall off. Even across the map, it still hits full damage. Granted, of course, it's very difficult to land every single bolt on a target across the map, but hey, it's still more damage than your hand cannon, and if you have excess ammo, well, it's a really good use of that. Because of the nature of wanting to dump Telesto ammo all around the map, make sure that you're running double fusion rifle scavenger, so when you run over any green special ammo on the floor, you get 3 fusion rifle instead of 2. By this point in the vid, you probably understand what this build can offer, so I'm just going to go with the post-commentary play-by-play. In this background footage, I'm just putting Telesto where I think someone's going to appear, and it gets me the kill more often than not. Now, I will pay attention to my radar here in a sec. I see someone could rush up at this corner, so I throw a stasis grenade, then put Telesto where he could slide, and I trap the shotgunner in the corner, and he's helpless. He doesn't even think to switch to a primary, which is exactly why this build is sick. From my opponent's perspective, you can outplay this build. You have to pay attention where the user is placing these grenades and Telesto projectiles, and make that risk-reward assessment of, can I live if I slide into this Telesto? Can I live if I slide into this dust field grenade? And if the answer is yes, then you'll probably catch your opponent off guard if you slide purposefully into that freeze grenade to get that shotgun kill. And yes, you will probably get frozen, but you took them out, and you can just break yourself free afterwards. One thing to consider is that the amount of health you have after breaking free from a freeze is dependent on your resilience level. So ideally, I want my stats on this build to be around 2 mobility with powerful friends, which brings us to a total of 4 mobility. For resilience, I want 10, but this is also taking into account the fragment and aspect combo that gives you an extra plus 10 resilience. My recovery should be 9 or 10, and then everything else is taken into discipline, which hopefully I can boost to somewhere around 8, 9, or 10. This would leave my intellect in a pretty sad state, but that's okay. This build isn't about using your super, it's about setting your teammates up for success by successfully crowd controlling. Lastly, the strength stat is going to be pitifully low, so I would recommend using the Radiant Light perk to give you an additional plus 20 strength. That way you can have somewhere around the, 4 or 5 level. Then you can use impact induction or momentum transfer, something like that on your gloves, so that any grenade hit refills your melee. In the future of this expansion, there will be fragments and aspects that maybe enhance our crowd control abilities. Maybe you have to give up this slide to get better grenades, or maybe it changes your super, maybe it changes your melee. I don't know. So eventually, there will be a better version of this build, and when that happens, I'll remake this video. Off the top of my head, you either want the one that gives you grenade energy for breaking crystals, or you want the one that whenever you freeze an opponent, it gives you bonus damage for 10 seconds. Ideally, you want both at the same time, but that currently isn't possible. Well, with that being said, that covers everything I wanted to talk about in today's build. So between this video and yesterday's video, you should have some options on how you want to play this Titan. If you didn't see yesterday's video, please go check that one out. I also mentioned in that video that I don't snipe on this class. While it is effective to be able to hit those slide snipes and then melee away after hitting that slide snipe, I find other classes far more effective at the sniper playstyle. You can still do it, you can rock people with the last word for example, but I still just find other classes more effective, so I'll focus on that. I might humor a sniper build in the future, but I much prefer shotgunning. For the record, I'm finding in my competitive matches that sniper rifles still run the show, people still hit me through flinch, so it's going to be a little aggravating having to deal with that, but don't worry, I planned ahead, I already have builds that counter that, so I can still participate and play the match, even if they don't want to. So if you're curious what that build is, a couple days ago I did post a video on that subject talking about all my builds for the next year, and none of those really change. There is a couple Beyond Light updates that have altered the way I run some of the things, but the ultimate goal on all those classes is the exact same. My Titans essentially got buffed, my Hunter got a little bit nerfed, and my Warlock stayed exactly the same. I don't want to overload you all with Titan build videos, but I am probably going to play a Titan for the world's first raid race, so the most efficient way to level all your characters is to get one of them to max, this case my Titan, and then you use the high level weapons to make the average drop of your new characters even higher. That's the efficient way to do it, and I think that's the best call. So bear with me for a few days, we're doing Titan content. This isn't favoritism, by the way. I play all three classes pretty equally. It's just that a lot of people don't play Titan, so I have to default to it simply because I'm a generalist. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed the videos. Leave a comment below if you've enjoyed this expansion so far. I know I have. I'll see you in the next one.
What can stop you if you fight together? Nothing. You captured Zone C. That's a power play. You took them, now hold them. Zone A lost. Zone A captured. Zone advantage is yours. I've seen enough. I'm calling this one a well